relations between Russia and Finland are marked with good neighborhood and cooperation based on equality, mutual benefit, and is very expensive. And in this complex of cooperation, cross-border cooperation is very important. It is always in focus in the search of focal points. At all levels, Russia and Finland have a very lengthy common border, over 1,300 kilometers. And this border is indeed a border of peace and intense practical cooperation, including large territories. Here in the cross-border areas, the good neighborhood is not abstract, it is very specific. Here, the neighbors are factors of everyday lives of each others. They have common tasks and find efficient ways to solve their common challenges. This cooperation is maximum to the ground. It is oriented to the specific economic and environmental and other needs of the people. In this context, in particular, I would like to emphasize the importance of the cross-border cooperation programs Arctic Russia, Southeast Finland, and Karelia. The Russian part will take part in the new program period for 21-27. It is very delightful to see that this segment of cooperation is not restricted by the EU. Our cross-border cooperation is based on the solid legal base on the Intergovernmental Agreement of 2012. And in compliance with these cooperation agreements, intersectoral committee is active. In Russia, this cross-border cooperation is based on systematic foundation. In October 2020, the government of the Russian Federation approved the new concept of cross-border cooperation to enhance the efficiency of the measures taken, considering the current and future needs. On the practical conditions of our joint efforts, of course, have been impacted by coronavirus pandemic, but I'm sure this is temporary. And after these difficult periods, our cooperation will achieve or gain new pace. Thank you for your attention. I wish you good luck. Thank you, Alexander. And now, welcome your remarks from the head of Murmansk Department of General Consulate of Finland in St. Petersburg, Mr. Larry Peltonen.
Many thanks, greetings from Murmansk. Many thanks for the organizers from the Murmansk regional government, as well as city of Murmansk, Kola, Pechenga, Kovdor, Tantalaksha, as well as the Finnish municipalities for putting up such an interesting program for the third Russian-Finnish cross-border cooperation days. I am happy to see so many participants from both sides of the borders. And even though our neighbors from the Finnish Lapland could not travel to Russia this year, we are glad that the online connections work. And I also look forward to going to Nickel in person tomorrow. So, for close to 30 years, the Finnish consulate in Murmansk has facilitated the relations between our two countries. During these years, our visa clerks have issued close to 1 million visas for Russian travelers, assisted Finnish citizens in consular matters in Russia, and organized countless meetings, visits, and cultural events. However, our work is just a small piece in the bigger picture of cooperation between Finnish and Russian authorities, businesses, municipalities, schools, artists, and private citizens. It is all this work and interaction to boost trade, increase tourism, tackle common environmental issues, and build trust and friendship that we are celebrating today. I'm also happy to note that high-level contacts have continued even during the corona crisis. Our foreign ministers had a bilateral meeting in St. Petersburg in February, and as was already noted, they are meeting again in Reykjavik. The people in the north have interest and knowledge to continue and increase the cooperation. There is a lot of potential in developing tourism, about which we will hear more during these 2 days. And Arctic questions will become more obvious on the international arena due to the climate change and melting of the ice in the Arctic Ocean. It will create both possibilities and challenges. These matters are on the agenda of the Russian presidency of the Arctic Council, and we will highlight them during the Finnish presidency of the Barents Euro-Arctic Council. Our presidency starts in October this year. I am sure we will get some ideas for our future interventions from today and tomorrow's discussions. We are, of course, all looking forward to the pandemic to fade away and the borders to open again. Although my predictions on how long these strange times would last have been too optimistic, I think that day is definitely not far away. Compared to where we were a year ago, the situation is a lot better and the vaccination program is ongoing. Next year, I am sure that the Finnish neighbors from Lapland can travel to Russia. We owe a lot to Skype and Zoom and Teams, but nothing really beats face-to-face conversations. Many thanks. Большое спасибо. Paljon kiitoksia. I wish all the participants interesting and fruitful discussions and seminars. Thank you.
Спасибо большое, господин Пелтонен. Я благодарю.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peltonen. Thankful to our three speakers, Tatiana, Alexander, and Larry, for their welcoming remarks. And now we move on to the practical part. First of all, we'll focus on the economics, and I urge the speakers to remember the time limit. So I'm happy to give the floor to Sergei Sinelnikov, acting trade representative of the Russian Federation in Finland.
Dear Igor Nikolaevich, dear colleagues, first of all, I would like to thank the Ministry of the Arctic Development and the Economy of Murmansk region for the opportunity to speak here before you and share our vision of the Russian-Finnish cross-border cooperation in terms of economic development. Finland is one of the largest Russia's trade partners, ranking 14th of all countries in the world in the amount of cargo turnover, and Russia is the third largest Finland's partner. There are a number of good cross-border projects, for example, factory Argus Spectre in Savonlinna, or Nokian tires in Leningrad region. Now, in the context of pandemic, when our countries found themselves in a difficult economic situation, we would like to emphasize the principal importance of a joint search for catalyzers for the cooperation between Russia and Finland, not based on the raw materials and the mutually beneficial. The role of border regions is very important. The four Russian regions, Leningrad, Murmansk, Karelia, and St. Petersburg, account for about 30% of Russian-Finnish cargo turnover. And in the Russian non-raw material, non-energy export to Finland, this share is about 47%. Cross-border areas show better success in recovery after the crisis. Based on the first quarter of 2021, the growth of trades amounts to 10%. Very efficient and well-proven instrument with good financial component, over 160 million euros, facilitating development of trade and economic relations between Russia and Finland is, of course, the cross-border cooperation program, Arctic, Karelia, Russia, and Southeast Finland. They are marked with the important components such as efficient business environment, good promising technologies and competencies, consistent trade and transportation chains, joint participation in project implementation at different levels, from the state down to municipal, and also in the research, allow us good results and efficiency, achieving synergy effect for the border areas. New promising areas for Russian-Finnish cross-border cooperation that should be in focus for the new program period could be renewable energy, production of hydrogen, new materials, biofuel of second generation, and all commodities with the that starts with bio. We need to jointly support initiatives for development of infrastructure, transport communications, port facilities, Arctic tourism, and environmental issues. I would like to especially emphasize that the business and the research are active in this cooperation. Their ideas and projects should be the main driving force. The task of the state authorities and municipalities, both in Russia and Finland, is to create the necessary conditions and provide the support. From our part, we are always ready to provide support to Russian and Finnish regions and companies to establish their links and relations. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Sergey. And we will listen to the Finnish view on the relations from Timo Rautajoki, the president of Chamber of Commerce of Lapland.
Thank you very much. It is a great pleasure for me to have a possibility to speak in so important conference that we have now here. Of course, cooperation has big challenges at the moment. Pandemic, as said previously many times, it's a huge obstacle also for trade and business. And we must say that when we are looking at what is happening in the Reykjavik today, and the foreign ministers are meeting, the world politics are moving. So no crisis, no pandemic, no political crisis last forever. They are going to end. So we have still possibilities to increase the cross-border business between Lapland and Murmansk region. And we remember that within the last 30 years, we have had 2 times big business boom. It was in the first years of Russian Federation was the first one. I think that then we had a turnover about 20 million euros. And 2006, 2008, we had about the same sum of money. And we remember when there are investments, we have both possibilities for investments. We have here in Lapland, you have in the Murmansk region. So from the years between the years 2009 and 2013, the total value of cargo transported through the Salla border crossing station was more than 1 billion euros, and one big part of that was Finnish export to Russian Federation. So now we have a great, within the next 2 years, we have a great new window to start after Corona, the new period also in economic cooperation between Russia and Finland, and most of that is happening here in cross-border cooperation. Russian Federation is taking over the chair of Arctic Council. That's happening in Reykjavik within these days, and Russia is taking on the agenda is very important, this Northern Sea route. That is a little bit too unknown for Finns and Finnish business at the moment. Finland is taking over the chair of Barents Euro-Arctic Council in October. And I know already about the chairmanship program of Finland that there are big issues on the agenda in economic cooperation, like circular economy, what we can do more in cooperation, and also fossil-free transport and infrastructure. So there is good possibility to start all over again. To conclude my presentation, I remember what happened about 50 years ago. During that days there is a history of the Finstroj company, which was building 2 big projects in the border regions between Finland and at that time Soviet Union, Svetogorsk and Kostamuksha. Well, that's of course history, but that was done 50 years ago, and when we have this window open now we should look at the history. what was done to do that. It was before any contracts. There was more than 1 year cooperation talks and finding possibilities for this great chance that was very important for Finnish export at that time. So there maybe not as big projects, but we must remember that Norilsk Nickel is investing in Murmansk region, and Norilsk Nickel is also investing in Finland, in Harjavalta. We have in northern Finland the Fennovoima nuclear power plant project together with Rosatom. So we have possibilities, and I'm sure that if we Finns activate and we start to plan business between Finland and Russia from looking at the history is a good teacher. So we could find new possibilities for better border cooperation than we have today, and pandemic is sure over at that time. So thank you very much. I wish a good conference for everybody and good luck in the future. Thank you.
Спасибо большое, господин председатель, господин президент.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Our next speaker is Andrei Ilyin, acting president of the Murmansk Region Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Your immediate partner, Andrei, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I can see everybody and hear everyone. And thank you for the opportunity to speak here. I would like to, in my presentation or small speech, I would like to dwell upon the experience and the key factors that we have been working with the Chamber of Commerce of Murmansk region. And in that respect, we have accumulated a large experience, especially with companies in Finland in the framework of the cross-border cooperation. The Murmansk region Trade Commerce signed the first agreement with the Chamber of Commerce of Lapland and the Northern Chamber in 1998, and since then the cooperation has been growing. As my colleague Timo Rautajoki emphasized, this potential is very consistent and it is very important to keep it up. Murmansk region Chamber of Commerce is doing a lot to look for new opportunities to cooperate with the Chambers of Commerce in Finland. In 2018, at the Murmansk Business Week, we supported in the meeting of Russian-Finnish business communities. In 2019, the companies of Murmansk region in IT took part in the business mission to Helsinki and also in the conference of Chambers of Commerce of Finland and Russia. The interest to Russian-Finnish Swedish business cooperation has been active, which was confirmed by the intent of General Consulate of Sweden and Finland in St. Petersburg to arrange jointly with Murmansk region Chamber of Commerce to arrange a business mission for Swedish and Finnish service companies to the mining conference in Murmansk region in November 2021. The Chamber of Commerce of Murmansk region has been a long-standing partner in Arctic projects. Beginning from October 2018, our chamber has been a partner in food processing project, an important project targeted at our common problems related to food raw materials in Murmansk region, Nenetsk, Autonomous Okrug, and Finnish Lapland. Initially, the project was designed for 3 years, but because of pandemic, a request has been filed to Arctic to extend the project until May 2022. The Chamber of Commerce of the of Murmansk region is coordinator from the Russian part, and from the Finnish, it is Nordguy. Already today, the implementation of this project gives tangible results in export of reindeer meat from Murmansk region to the European Union. The total amount of the project is over 2.5 million euros, and mainly these are small businesses. For more than 10 years, Murmansk Region Chamber has been arranging a conference, Barents Euro-Arctic regions mining industry, the look into the future. The committee, the steering committee that always is responsible for the conference includes both representatives of the Russian part and the European Union. In particular, Timo Rautajoki is a permanent member of the committee. This year, a decision was made, even in spite of the complications that we have had, and we had to postpone our 10th Jubilee conference, and we will be celebrating that on 18th, 19th of November 2021, hopefully physically, but if we have any problems, we will arrange a hybrid format, but we hope to see physically everybody to talk. And it is important for us that European companies should be present here. The world's leaders of manufacturing of mining equipment for the Arctic, and we will be happy to see all of you in the town of Kirovsk on the 18th, 19th of November. As Timo Rautajoki and other speakers have mentioned, on the 20th of May, the Russian Federation is taking over the chairmanship in the Arctic Council. And considering that the Arctic zone of the Russian Federation is responsible for more than 20% of GDP of the country, of course, this is a huge potential of economy and production. And the Russian Federation Chamber of Commerce includes 12 territorial chambers from the Arctic zone. This is a huge potential, and we have a good field for cooperation, for communication, and the colossal experience of Russian and our international chambers in the Barents region, in the Arctic, and this will be very valuable. This is the main things that I had to tell. I am welcoming all the participants, and thanks for your attention. Thank you. And now Alexander Romanov, the first deputy of Murmansk Customs Office.
Alexander Nikolaevich.
Alexander, are you there? I saw that there were some issues, technical issues, so we will get back to the Murmansk Customs. But now I would like to give the floor to Riika Otinen, the program manager of the Arctic CBC program. We already heard a lot about this program, but we know that in the forthcoming program period, all our partner countries from Lithuania to Finland have increased their share, their contribution, their national contribution and the EU contribution. And you know that 50%. Good afternoon, dear participants. Can you hear me? Well, Alexander, then Riika, I'm sorry, then you'll have to wait, and we'll listen to the Murmansk Customs.
Александр Николаевич, мы вас слушаем.
Alexander, we are listening to you.
Александр Николаевич Романов, мы вас слушаем.
Alexander Romanov, we are eager to listen to you. Well, I have to ask the organizers to solve the technical issue with the customs, and then we move the floor to Riika Otinen for now. Thank you. Riika, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. Dear organizers, dear Mr. Kapirin, as the moderator of the event, dear ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to thank for the invitation to this high-level event and the possibility to tell about the opportunities offered by the Arctic program. I have been glad listening to the previous speeches with multiple references to Colarctic program and projects already. In the current Colarctic CBC program, Russian and Finnish actors, often together with Swedish and Norwegian ones, have combined their strengths and best competencies. Of the sectors of cooperation, I would especially like to mention the knowledge of the Arctic and successful operations in the Arctic. The competencies related to this are, for instance, the expertise in housing in the Arctic region, energy efficiency despite of the cold and dark, and traffic in the snowy and icy season. The vulnerable Arctic environment has, of course, also been a central topic. The current ongoing program was designed during a time when much was expected of the Raising Business Cooperation, and consequently, the program has business-oriented objectives. In the Colarctic program prepared for the beginning program period 2021-2027, the countries will continue combining their expertise, whereas more soft elements, such as culture and people-related objectives, are more prominently displayed alongside business goals. The following themes, among others, are coming to the new program: research and innovation, reaping the benefits of digitization, climate change adaptation and disaster risk prevention, protection and preservation of nature and biodiversity. These themes can be seen as continuing the work carried out in the current program. The earlier mentioned human and people-related objectives are related, for example, to the role of culture and sustainable tourism in economic development, social inclusion and social innovation, and people-to-people actions. These themes meet the expectations and hopes of many stakeholder groups that have been heard during the programming work. The Regional Council of Lapland in Rovaniemi, Finland, will continue as the managing authority of the new program, like it is in the current program. The program will have offices in Russia, as the Colarctic CBC program has today. The managing authority and the branch offices inform about the implementation and projects of the ongoing Colarctic CBC program, as well as the new Colarctic program on the website colarctic.info. Also, we are in the social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Furthermore, we publish Colarctic-related videos in our playlist in YouTube. I kindly invite you to like and follow us and share our postings. I wish everybody an interesting and fruitful seminar. Thank you.
Рика, большое спасибо.
Thank you very much, Rika. It's really very interesting. We really have a lot of work before us, and we have to remember that the first call for proposals will be announced in 2022, because even though the program is called 2021-2027, but it's unlikely that we'll have the call for proposal this year, so they will be moved to 2022. And we move to Pacific Nature Reserve and Natalia Polikarpova. Can you hear me?
Dear colleagues, thank you for the invitation to take part in this important event, the Days of Russian-Finnish Cross-Border Cooperation and the Pacific Reserve in the border area in cooperation with Finland. Since the establishment back in 1990s has been actively cooperating, especially since 2005, when jointly with Norway and Finland, the cross-border park, Pacific Plenary, was established. Later, this park was certified as Euro Park to confirm the good neighborhood environmental cooperation. Next year, 2022, the park will celebrate 15 years and the reserve 30 years. It plays an important role in environmental protection, development of environmental and educational tourism, adaptation to climate change, and biodiversity protection. Currently, the reserve is involved in two Colarctic projects. One is cross-border cooperation and multilateral management of the Pass and Grense Jakobselv management, and the second is a multi-purpose plan of the cross-border rivers basin management. and the document implies activity of the three countries until 2030. This define the joint strategy between Russia, Finland, and Norway here in the region for environmental protection. The other project is also under Arctic program, and it implies development of enlightenment and educational materials for the three countries. It will be published in Russian and English. Also, the Pacific Reserve permanently displays exhibitions in the nickel settlement. Already the brand of Pacific Reserve has been developed, and this year we are beginning to build this exposition to attract more tourists to the cross-border areas. Also, environmental recovery of the Arctic rivers and the Salmus project is also implemented by other companies and organizations, but it also relates to the Pass Valley. The reserve plays an expert role in this project. There are also other projects in Arctic, for example, micro projects, the polar lights monitoring system for the needs of tourism business. Currently, video cameras are envisaged for a better monitoring of aurora, and the other is a smart park, waste management, and water bodies management in the reserve system. Thank you very much. I see that Murmansk Customs Office is back online. Alexander Romanov, the Deputy Head of Murmansk Customs.
Yes, good afternoon, dear participants of the meeting. I will try to be short because of the pandemic. In 2020 and 2021, the number of people crossing the border between Russia and Finland has dropped down significantly, but the cargo flows between Russia and Finland remains the same. We are mainly seen as construction machinery, equipment, wood chips, an important tool for the development of Russian-Finnish cross-border cooperation and addressing issues in the border areas can be the establishment of border cooperation bodies and making of intermunicipal and interregional cooperation agreements. We also need to coordinate taxation, administrative, and other measures that will prioritize the development of border areas of the Russian Federation. We need to improve the migration and taxation legislation, and the attractiveness of border areas for foreign investors is defined by the transport accessibility, and we need to ensure a smooth flow of export and import commodities through the border. We need to facilitate the development of infrastructure, and in order to facilitate business activity and create an economic basis for the development, social development, and improvement of the quality of life. There's been a number of legislative actions. Since August 2000, we have two new federal laws in action. 193 on the state support of entrepreneurship in the Russian Arctic zone, and the second one is 194 on amending certain legislative acts of the Russian Federation based on the law for the support of business activities in the Russian Arctic zone. And also the Russian government has approved the boundaries of the zones of advanced economic development in the Kola district and Murmansk region, which has been titled now the Arctic capital. It has a special legal status for economic activities with the purpose of creating favorable conditions for the investors and facilitating the accelerated social and economic development. And doing this is a guarantee for the stable Russian-Finnish economic cooperation. Thank you. Thank you very much, Alexander. So it is a very important message. I hope it will be available for the participants after the event so that they can refer to it in order to improve the cooperation in the region. Our next speaker is Elena Rocheva, who heads the Kola-Sami Association.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to tell about the international cooperation with indigenous small-numbered peoples of Murmansk region, Sami. Murmansk region is a cross-border area with intensive development of international links. Sami reside in the territory of 4 countries. The largest group is in Norway, further Sweden and Finland, and in Russia only 2,000 Sami, most of them on the Kola Peninsula, and this is 0.2% of the whole population. About 72% of the territory of Murmansk region is the territory of traditional residents. Sami pursue their traditional economic activities, and in the region we have 42 Sami община or communities. They engage in traditional economy, reindeer herding, fishing, hunting, etc. Also, Murmansk region has 7 civil society associations of Sami. The largest are the Kola-Sami Association and the civil society organization in support of a legal and cultural heritage of Sami to protect the legal rights of the indigenous peoples, arranging cultural and environmental projects. The focus of the regional government are retention of culture and national traditions. On the 9th of August 2018, an agreement was signed with the Association of Kola-Sami, OSMO, and the state authorities of Murmansk region. Joint activities are implemented to enhance the national identity and the international relations with Sami in the other countries. In support of their language and culture, Association of Kola-Sami and OSMO are members of the Union of Sami or Sami Council, bringing together Sami of the 4 countries. Russian Sami are permanent members of the Working Group on Indigenous Peoples of the Barents Euro-Arctic region, Cultural Committee of Sami Council, Association of Reindeer Herders of the World, and Association of Yoik performers. International projects implemented in bilateral and multilateral format facilitate development of social and cultural sphere of the region. We take part in discussion of indigenous peoples in the Arctic, issues of retention of culture and languages and traditional ways of lives and livelihoods. Jointly with Sami from other Nordic countries, we identify the further trends for development. Currently, Sami folklore, ethnical festivals, and guided tours are more and more popular. These events bring more international tourists. To popularize the national Sami culture, the region holds annual cultural events, and our guests from the Nordic countries are our regular visitors. Representatives from Sami communities in Finland, Norway, Sweden take part in the International Sami Day, the Reindeer Day, the Festival of the North, etc., in festivals of music and language, seminars in handicrafts, traditional medicine, and Sami cuisine, Tereberskaya Volna. Also, the Russian Sami take part in the contest of Cultural Fund of Sami Council to recover Skol Sami culture in the Tuloma village, recovery of handicrafts, and the Festival of the Cultures of the North in Tereberka, and many others, jointly with the state authorities and educational institutions and indigenous peoples organizations of the Nordic countries. The Russian Sami are developing their cultural dialogue. For example, on the 15th of March 2020, a meeting was held with the Spanish Association of the Arctic Research, the anthropologists, Miguel Karelia, who came to Murmansk for a second time, told about the life of the Russian North, telling more about literature and the handicrafts of Sami. Also, last year in December, a monument was opened in honor of reindeer battalions with participation of Miss Torun Hasler, the consul of the Kingdom of Norway in Murmansk. The participants of the meeting discussed the cultural cooperation and cultural links between the Sami and other communities in the north. The multi-year international cooperation between the small numbered indigenous peoples improves understanding of the culture and association of the Kola Sami hopes for further cooperation and support. Thank you very much. I will express our common opinion that in the Kolarctic program, we will pay special attention to Sami projects. Let's listen the Academia, Svetlana Derkach, acting rector of Murmansk State Technical University.
Good afternoon, dear participants of the plenary session. I would like to thank the organizers for the opportunity to speak today to discuss the cooperation in the education field. I should start that the cooperation between Murmansk State Technical University and Finnish University started more than 20 years ago. Our first contacts were established with the universities of Oulu and Lapland, and then with the applied sciences universities in Rovaniemi and Kemi-Tornio. Over the last 10 years, we have implemented research and education programs, projects with our Finnish colleagues on business education, development, transport networks, on environment. Currently, we have several projects in consortia with Finnish partners such as the University of Oulu and the Institute of Nature Resources of Finland. And I would like to highlight two of them. The first project focuses on green building technologies. One of the goals of the project is to study how the housing in the Arctic cities influences the environment. I would like to note that this project was nominated as a project of the month in February 2021 by the Cool-Arctic program. And the second project focuses on innovation in Arctic aquaculture. We are developing promising recirculating aquaculture systems for farming fish with minimum environmental impact. We are also part of the Arctic University of the Arctic and its thematic networks, such as logistics and transport in the Arctic, and security and protection in the Arctic. Finnish partners are also part of these networks. And this year, we saw one new thematic network approved, and it will be a thematic network on circular economy, which has been initiated by the Lapland University of Applied Sciences. We also have experience of organizing student mobility in consortia with Finnish universities, and we are now developing courses for improving English skills. for making courses in the English language, and we would like to strengthen our academic ties. And one of them is to establish a joint school for ecological volunteers with the participation of the Finnish company Open Borders from Oulu. And we are planning to upscale this idea throughout the program region. And in conclusion, I invite all interested organizations into work on green building technologies, on development of aquaculture, on environmental monitoring, environmental engineering, and also information technologies and logistics. Thank you very much, Svetlana. As you said, the Lapland University of Applied Sciences is your project partner, and I would like to give the floor to Jukka Leininen, project manager, School of Arctic Natural Resources and Economy, Lapland University of Applied Sciences. Mr. Leininen, the floor is yours.
Thank you for invitation. I will briefly talk about the project funded by the Arctic CPC, which involve us and the Russian Research Institute. We have three main teams at Lapland University of Applied Sciences: industry and logistics, tourism, and future bioeconomy. In these, we have 6 ongoing projects. There is one ongoing project in the industry, the maintenance of railway infrastructure, which aims to exchange railway technical know-how and best practices. There are 3 ongoing projects in tourism. The one project aims to raise the potential of the Arctic region in the tourism market and awareness about Arctic nature and its phenomena. The other project aims to build an international network for promotion of business opportunities by developing industrial tourism. The aim of the future bioeconomy project is to find out, among other things, how the forest management practices affect, for example, tree harvest. In addition, the cross-cutting theme of the project at Lapland University of Applied Sciences are green transition and digitalization. There is one ongoing project in the green transition. This project aims to build a black carbon mitigation roadmap, outline a common direction for the cross-border activities to reduce black carbon emissions in the Arctic. And there is also one ongoing project in digitalization. The use cases of the project are, among other things, smart road for sudden changes of weather and IoT platform to ensure the safety of the reindeers on the roads. There has been cooperation between Lapland University of Applied Sciences and Russia, and we hope it will continue. Thank you very much.
Спасибо большое, господин Лейнонен. С вашим выступлением мы заканчиваем.
Thank you, Mr. Lenin. This concludes our first part, and we come down to discussion with the municipalities of Russia and Finland, people who directly related to cross-border cooperation. Our first speaker is Alexander Likhalat, the head of administration of the Kola region.
Good afternoon, dear Igor, dear colleagues, dear friends. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak and share our ideas and plans. The humankind lives in the age of information technology. They have become part of our life, daily life, and they have served to improve our social and business activity. And the pandemic has just been a driver in this process. It has expanded the range of social media programs and systems. Currently, the IT industry has a great impact on all walks of life, and international relations are no exception. And therefore, in my presentation, I would like to highlight the issue of digitalization of international relations using the Kola district as a case study. First of all, we should know the format of international meetings. So video conferences have become a regular way of communication for the development of cross-border cooperation, for exchanging news, and for addressing common challenges. In March, we had a very fruitful bilateral meeting with the representatives of the Union of Municipalities of Eastern Lapland. And in the coming future, we are planning to have a similar meeting with our long-term partners from the municipality of Inari. In addition to Skype that we already knew, we have also learned how to use Zoom and Teams, and we are also more active in email communication. For the first time ever, the General Assembly of the Council of Northern Border Municipalities took place over email, and I should note that it offers great flexibility because we live in different time zones, and this format is very useful for meeting the formal requirements for managing an international association. And I should also note that WhatsApp is also very useful in addressing issues at a short notice. And now that we live online, we have been able to focus more on the things at hand and future potential. We have now new ideas for cooperation that are possible thanks to online opportunities. We are now seriously thinking about organizing language courses for the Finnish and Russian language for residents of border areas. We voiced this proposal to our Finnish colleagues, and we have received a positive response. And we believe that this initiative will be launched very soon. And temporary closure of state borders has increased interest to neighboring countries, and to use virtual tourism as an alternative option. Alexander, your time is running out. Dear colleagues, so the role of digital diplomacy is now increasing. Official accounts of consular offices and social networks publish news of important events and useful information. But digitalization on municipal level improves the neighborly relations and makes it possible to establish more trust. But I should note that the online format will never replace face-to-face meetings, but it can be a complement to these relations. Thank you. And then Mr. Ante Rantanen, Mayor of Kemijärvi.
Thank you, Igor. Hello from Kemijärvi to you all. We have done a great cooperation with the city of Kandalaksja several years as a twin cities. I have seen that both cities want to do things together. I have enjoyed visiting Russia and Kandalaksja and get to know new people and your great culture better. We have done cooperation, for example, in culture and sport. And when COVID-19 allows, it would be very nice to build together a possibility to create a nature travel model. What I mean that we have several national parks nearby, for example, in Savukoski, Urho Kekkonen National Park, in Salla, in Pyhä Luosto, and in Oulanka from the Finnish side, and from the Russian side, there are several more. I know that in Kandalaksja you can see, for example, seals and whales, and I know that they are very exotic animals for us Finns. I'm sure that if traveling is very easy to do, the numbers of visitors will increase dramatically. We have done research with what influence national parks have to the economy, to the area nearby, and the numbers are very high. They are very big. COVID-19 has increased people's need to enjoy the nature even more. And I think this is one subject we must together talk a lot of in the future. Thank you.
Спасибо большое, господин Рантанен.
Thank you, Mr. Rantanen. We will be waiting for that future. Andrei Kuznetsov, the head of Pechenga Municipal District.
Dear organizers, dear participants of the Russian-Finnish Days of Cross-Border Cooperation, I've been in charge of the merged Pechenga Municipal District since January this year, and so far I have not been able to meet my Finnish and Norwegian colleagues in person, unfortunately, but thanks to modern technology, we are able to maintain our historic ties in the borderland. I would like to remind you that we established friendly relations with Sross-Border in 1972, and our first cooperation with the Finnish municipality of Plenary was signed in 1993. And our further cooperation was mainly done in a trilateral format, and over these years we've implemented a number of interesting projects. They were mainly targeting the establishment of contacts between people in areas like culture, sports, and entrepreneurship and youth policies. One of our recent activities was a seminar on the exchange of best educational practices. We are also planning to have a seminar on distance education in the autumn. And I must say that despite the pandemic, we continue to maintain active dialogue with Finnish partners. We have a very productive relationship with the Murmansk department of the Finland's Consulate General. In March this year, Consul Larry Peltonen made its first visit outside Murmansk to the Pechenga Municipal District. And during the visit, we had an active discussion of the program of this event and the events that we are organizing, the history seminar, Northern Cloister, and trilateral webinar on ecological and ethnographic tourism will be conducted with the support and the direct involvement of the Finnish consulate. We are happy that the consul and his colleagues are coming tomorrow to Nickel to open the photo exhibition, Finland, the Happiness the Finland Way, and the crash course of Finnish and Russian languages. And thanks to this online format, we are able to follow the events from anywhere in the world. Therefore, I am urging you to get connected and wish you a very fruitful event. Thank you. And now we move on to Dina Solati, Director of the Local Federation of East Lapland, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the invitation. So far, it has been very interesting and fruitful, and I'm looking forward also to the other webinars today. Here in East Lapland, we have made cooperation with Russia already decades. Our cooperation has always been very rewarding, especially these days when we have Corona here. We have had our meetings virtually, and we have had meetings with Kandalaksha and Kola district almost every month. We also arranged a meeting between the mayors in March, and the meeting was very successful. It is very important to share information and knowledge in these difficult times and to support each other. Our municipalities have also twin cities. East Lapland and Kola district made an agreement concerning traveling in 2019. Pelkosenniemi and Kirosk are now having negotiation in the twin city agreement, and hopefully they can sign it soon. Twin cities are Kemijärvi and Kandalaksha, Salla and Kandalaksha, and Salla-Kovdor, Salla-Polarnoitsori, and Savukoski-Jona. We have many common issues to be developed together. I think the most interesting are now development of tourism industry in the region. Like Atte Rantanen just told us, develop ecotourism and natural parks, and also fishing and hunting tourism. Then also improving logistics like roads and railways. Hopefully in the future we have Rail Arctica, Salla-Kandalaksa rail line, which opens many possibilities for linking Lapland and Northwest Russia better to global goods and energy flows. It would have great positive impact on regional mining industry, forest industry, tourism, and other business. New rail link would increase the attractiveness of the region, also investment-wise. Then development of trade and economic cooperation. We are looking forward to the electronic visas or even visa-free areas. And we are very happy when we heard that a veterinary and phytosanitary control point will be planned to the Russian side of border. We hope we could build also that to the Salla International Border Crossing Station. The potential volume of the food transport through the Salla border station in 2030 is estimated to be 48 tons per year. There will be in average 12 load trucks to Russia and on average of 5 to Finland per day. The basic assumption is that the EU and Russia sanctions and counter-sanctions will be lifted over time. We hope that will happen soon. We also hope to have meetings concerning the veterinary and phytosanitary control points together with Russia. And the last very important issue is to make our areas more attractive for young people. Our high schools, especially in Salla and now also in Posio and Savukoski, are internationally profiled high schools with strong competence in educational cooperation with Russia. That work is very important for us and we will develop it further together. So thank you very much for the time and I hope our cooperation will further improve and deepen and hope we can plan a joint new Arctic project. Hopefully we will be able to come there and meet you next year and welcome to East Lapland as well. Thank you.
Спасибо большое, госпожа Solati.
Thank you very much, Ms. Solati. Thank you for your optimism. And now, Evgeny Nicora, the head of Murmansk administration.
Good afternoon, dear friends. I'm very happy to welcome my colleagues, especially mayors of the Murmansk region and Finland, and of course our friends from our sister city of Rovaniemi. Of course, we are living in a very hard time. This is a true ordeal which we have never had to go through personally, because we now have to deal with this pandemic. I'm very happy to see all of you in good health. So the administration of the Murmansk city focuses a lot on our collaboration with the sister cities. Also during the pandemic, with all our friends, we have had our regular meetings in an unusual online format. It was unusual some time ago, but now it's a usual format. We continue developing joint projects. We are preparing for the implementation of the ideas that have been put on hold because of the pandemic. We have approved joint plans in fields of culture, sports, education, and cross-border cooperation. Our friendly relations between Murmansk and its sister cities make it possible to conduct joint economic projects. And the collaboration of sister cities is unique because it involves three major sectors. It's local government, business structures, and general public. I'll just remind you that we signed a cooperation agreement between Murmansk and Rovaniemi on the 23rd of April 1962. So we are already getting ready for our 60th anniversary of sister city ties. Just last week, we had a discussion of the plan for the improvement of the city of Murmansk, which is developed together with the government of the Murmansk region. It's called Our Murmansk. It's part of the strategic plan to live in the north 2030. And what is important, that many ideas that aim to improve the quality of life of the people of Murmansk and to make a contemporary urban environment, to make good public spaces. So we've learned these ideas from our sister cities, including the city of Rovaniemi. Rovaniemi and Murmansk are northern areas in their respective countries, and they face similar challenges. These are mainly related to winter, to road maintenance in the winter. And I do hope that this plenary session will result in us finding new growth points, both for the development of small businesses, for the cooperation between NGOs, which have actually now flourishing during the pandemic now in the Murmansk region. And I would like to thank the volunteers for the work that they are doing and will continue to do. And I'm sure that our relations will continue to improve regardless of the current situation in the world. And I'm sure that they will enter a totally new level. But I would like to see all of our friends soon in offline format. Thank you very much, Mr. Nicora and Mr. Tony Laine, Mayor of Inner Municipality. The floor is yours.
Dear Vice Governor, dear colleagues and neighbors, on behalf of Inari Municipality, I would like to thank our Russian neighbors for organizing this event and giving us an opportunity to meet colleagues online. Unfortunately, the COVID pandemic has prevented live meetings between us, affected our livelihoods, and also caused personal tragedies. However, we have also learned a lot. We have learned to communicate through digital solutions and are less dependent on specific work locations. In Finland, remote working has become a trend. This has attracted a significant number of people in the south to move to north, because they have learned that it is possible to live and work surrounded by northern nature. In near future, Inari Municipality attempts to promote construction of broadband connections to better enable remote working. Because tourism is really important for all of us, we think that, and we thank the organizers of Russian-Finnish Cooperation Days for creating discussion platforms also for this sector of business. We appreciate joint Russian-Finnish attempts at improving communications and creating infrastructure which brings us closer to each other. The road between Lota and Murmansk has been improved thanks to collective financing, and the constructions at Raja-Jooseppi border crossing point are being renewed. We also appreciate the new electronic visa system which Russia is taking into use, and hope that it will be soon in use also at northern border crossing points. A further improvement is the potential establishment of veterinary control points at Russian border crossing points. We look forward to the opening of borders so that we can return to personal meetings with our colleagues and continue good municipal cooperation that has lasted for decades. We wish all parties successful negotiations during these cooperation days. Thank you.
Большое спасибо, господин Лайна.
Thank you, Mr. Laine. Mikhail Pavlov, the head of Kandalaksha municipality.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to meet at least online, and the Kandalaksha district has friendly relations with neighboring Finland for many years, both on the people-to-people level and on the organizational level, and we can call it a family ties because we have a sister city, Kemijärvi, and this year Kemijärvi is turning 150 years old, and I would like to use this opportunity to congratulate its mayor Atte Rantanen with the anniversary and wish all residents of Kemijärvi good health, well-being, and the successful implementation of all development plans. We are thankful to our sister city for more than 30 years of cooperation and sharing interesting experience. A good example of that is Yukigassen, the snowball battles that we are conducting now as well here in Kandalaksha. We've been doing it for 5 years now, and we'll hope that next year, once the borders open, we will have visitors from Finland attending our city championship. And we also have relations with other cities such as Sale, first and foremost, because Alakurti borders on the Sale municipality, and Alakurti has Pelko-Siniemi as its twin municipality, and we have relations between the authorities, and we also have every year people looking for the remains of the soldiers of World War II. We also have a very good tradition of school exchanges. We also help children in difficult situations. So children's villages in Tornio and Kandalaksha have exchanged their experiences and have helped their children. And we also had the joint youth forum together with our Finnish partners. We are active in international programs, and thus we are able to develop our areas. And we can remember a Arctic project, which has helped to upgrade the longest piece of the road leading to the Sala-Border crossing point. Now this road is fully asphalted. A few years ago, we opened this section of the road with new asphalt, and we have also been able to implement an agricultural park in Alakurti together with our Finnish partners. We studied joint practices in agriculture, created new tourism products, improved the qualifications of our officials. Even though the borders have been closed for more than a year now, I'm sure that when our Finnish friends will come to Kandalaksha, they will see how much it has changed. Together with our Finnish friends, we have this lucky opportunity to live in a remote, sparsely populated region where you can spend a lot of time in the nature. And we are interested in developing nature tourism, and this is something that unites border municipalities and urges us to participate in cooperation programs. And a symbolic example of that is a Salagate project, and Salagate means a gateway, and we indeed have a certain corridor, a gateway between Russia and Western Europe, and in the end of the summer, one more of our joint dreams will come true. The Sala border crossing point will have veterinary and phytosanitary control, and that will be useful for both individual travelers and cargo transportation. And we hope that borders will open soon for all of us, and we'll be able to meet our friends and colleagues in border areas of Lapland and here in Russia. Thank you very much, Mikhail. The borders will definitely open, and we'll meet both in Finland and Russia. Our next speaker is Sergei Somov, head of Kovdor District Administration. but after the presentation of Ms. Tula Rintala-Gardin, I would like to all of us to switch on our cameras so that we can have a family picture taken by the organizers. But now we move on to Sergei Somov. Thank you.
Dear friends and colleagues, good morning. It's an honor for me to be here at our joint event, and I would like to focus your attention to tourism and transport logistics developments to improve the relations between our countries. Currently, the Kavdor municipality, jointly with Eurohim, are considering resuming the project of construction of automobile road between Kavdor and Alakurti and further to the Sala border crossing station. This will reduce the distance to the border more than 200 kilometers and reduce the travel time from 4 to 2 hours. The envisaged route is mostly designed for the southern municipalities of Murmansk region, where more than 200,000 people live. We hope for a bilateral cooperation in the implementation of this project, meeting hyper barrier implemented in Kavdor district, encouraging more investments to this region and creating more jobs, creating more expert relations between Russia and Finland. And this new transportation route will open more possibilities between our countries. By joint efforts, Russia and Finland will develop the transport infrastructure and create new point of development, both for southern Murmansk region and East Lapland, and also cross-border cooperation between the fragmented Sami communities. The new transportation ring will give Russian tourists an opportunity and Finnish tourists an opportunity to familiarize with the tourist sites and attractions, see Kandalaksha and Lapland reserves, and see fantastic places in Finland, including the National Park Salla. We value the interests of our international partners, and recently, not only during the pandemic, but also because of remoteness, cooperation between us was difficult. Construction of a new road between Kavdor and Alakurti will give an impetus to cross-border cooperation in various spheres: education, culture and sports, also tourism, and importantly, environmental protection. Implementation of the project requires a joint working group with representatives of official authorities from Russia, Finland, and business partners. Currently, we can see the following stages: assessment of the cost of the project and search for investors, tender procedures, development of the project documentation and finding funding, and the commissioning of the construction and commissioning of the facility. The sources of funding may be federal money allocated to the national project, international cooperation and expert, also the Northern Dimension Partnership, and Call Arctic 2127. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize that only mutually beneficial cooperation and joint significant projects will improve our international relations between the municipalities. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Sergei. Thank you for mentioning the Northern Dimension, the Finnish initiative, where Russian is also actively engaged, Iceland, other countries, European Union, and it has a lot of potential in environment protection. Just recently, an seminar was held with participation of the Murmansk authorities and Finnish representatives, and transport and logistics partnership is also very interesting and gives good opportunities, and we need to invest in that, our energy, and bring more interesting initiatives. And finally, in our discussion, Ms. Tula Rintala-Gardin, the head of International Relations Department of Rovaniemi, and again, after her speech, I will invite everybody to switch on their cameras for our family photo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to bring you greetings from Rovaniemi. Our mayor, Ms. Ulla Kirsikka-Vainio, regrets not being able to attend today, but she will join the conference tomorrow. The twinning relations between Murmansk and Rovaniemi were established almost 60 years ago. Over the years, there has been cooperation between cities in many areas, such as cultural exchanges, school visits, and also the exchange of social and health care know-how. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, delegations from Murmansk and Rovaniemi visited each other regularly. During the visits, they got acquainted with the activities of various organizations, as well as companies, and the cooperation opportunities that open up through them. Murmansk sports teams visited Rovaniemi a couple of times a year with Dr. Vyacheslav Nemkin. The sad news of his passing away also affected many in Rovaniemi. There will be a day when borders will reopen and our cooperation will be restored. The development of cooperation between Lapland and the Murmansk region is an important common task. The role of the regional capitals, Rovaniemi and Murmansk, will be significant in this work. Lapland is the only EU neighboring region to Murmansk region, thus the EU is also strongly involved in the interregional development work. Cross-border cooperation between Finland and Russia will continue in the forthcoming EU programming period within the framework of 3 external border programs. Preparations for future cross-border cooperation programs in Southeast Finland and Russia, Karelia and Kolarctic are underway. The 2021 to 2027 Kolarctic CBC will be an important tool for advancing joint projects in the different fields of cooperation. The role of the cities is to contribute to supporting joint projects and also to implementing them. Projects may relate to business, social and health work, cultural cooperation, logistics, and security. In the field of business, opportunities rise from the promotion of innovative ecosystems, Arctic tourism, and activities related to the environment. The cross-cutting themes in the various projects will be low carbon, digitalization, and new technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the city of Rovaniemi, I would like to thank you for the invitation to attend the 3rd Russian-Finnish Cross-Border Cooperation Days. I sincerely hope that our cooperation will return to normal, and sometimes in the near future we will also be able to meet face-to-face. And of course, we truly miss the tourists coming from Murmansk region to Rovaniemi, and we warmly welcome them back when the time is right. Thank you.
Спасибо вам, спасибо городу Ровaniemi за активное участие в этом взаимодействии. Так, сейчас наступило время.
Thank you. Thanks to you. Thanks to the city of Rovaniemi. Now it's time to switch on your cameras for the family photo.
Так, видимо, дальше никто не подключится. Сейчас время организаторам нажать на кнопку.
So now we give the organizer the chance to push the appropriate button. I hope it has already been done. Thank you very much. It's hard to make any conclusions after such a versatile discussion and the number of ideas, but the most important thing is that the cooperation that dates back that are several decades old or even longer, many decades old, is going through a difficult period of the pandemic, but it's nice to see that everybody is saying that they want to return to normal communication. Of course, digital technologies give us the new opportunities to connect via a car or via a different city, but nothing can replace human interaction, direct human interaction. So, and returning to the Colarctic program, one of the main priorities of the Colarctic program is the people-to-people contacts. As a federal official, I should say that our capital, and I'm sure Helsinki as well, are doing a lot for the cross-border cooperation to develop. And we have taken down the need for simplifying the visa regime and introducing electronic visas in the north, and to the introduction of veterinary and phytosanitary control at the Sala border station. And it's obvious that the federal authorities can do a lot, can still do a lot to facilitate this cooperation. But you are the main actors, because we often hear about the Arctic, and the Arctic is the people that live in there. So your energy that you have showed today is very important, and we will support in all the ways possible and help you. We've heard some interesting ideas how we should look for new growth points, and that is aquaculture or anything bio, and the new fields in education, innovation, research, Arctic tourism, support of small and medium-sized businesses, NGOs, volunteers. So it's a very vast array. It's a big menu that you can select from and enhance our collaboration. We thank Finnish colleagues for taking our interests into account when we speak about cross-border cooperation in the dialogue with Brussels, with the EU Commission, because we all want our 3 cross-border cooperation programs to be the programs of equal partners, not just the programs on the external borders of the EU, but they should be equal partners that co-finance equally these programs, which will carry the 3 flags of the EU, Finland and Russia over all of the projects. And that is important. That is very important. That sense of ownership that can help make them effective and move the situation forward. I believe that we'll have a more detailed summing up tomorrow. I and Ms. Ottinen will be waiting for new proposals for the Colarctic program, and I'm sure that also other tools in addition to Colarctic that facilitate this cooperation, and hope that next year, or maybe in the second half of this year, we'll have the opportunity to meet face to face and to shake our hands when we all are able to greet each other personally, and then we should take the experiences from this digital world to the new life, but at the same time feel the pleasure of human interaction across borders. Thank you very much, and I'm now closing our first session. Thank you very much. Good luck in everything you do, and good luck during the Russian-Finnish days of cross-border cooperation. Thank you.